Hey you! Yes, you! Are you tired of driving normally? Want a bit more challenge when taking your kids to school in the morning? Introducing Drunk Driving, patent pending. Drunk Driving uses revolutionary techniques to add a bit more challenge into your daily routine. Here's what one of our users looked like before using Drunk Driving, and here's what they look like after. Wait, what? No one would told me this happens. What do you mean it's illegal? Shit, liquidate the company! Well, that's 5 million in investor funding and an actor down the drain, but like, how am I meant to salvage this company? I mean, all I've got left is this lifetime game maker license and some sprites of cars for some reason. Yeah, I made a drunk driving simulator, and if you want, you can play it now. I'll tell you how it looks at the end of this video, so just wait a bit, okay? The first thing that I did was made this car. I just googled pixel art car and made my own version of one of the images I found. It is missing side mirrors, but you're an omnipotent being, you don't need those. Next, I got the car controllers in. You move forwards and backwards by pressing W and S, and you turn by pressing A and D. Pretty standard controls for a driving game. And I made the drunkenness mechanic. Every 20 seconds you chug a beer, which adds 2 frames of delay. It also increases the max speed by 1, along with adding a slight bit of randomness to how much you turn. If you want a quick explanation of how I did the delay, feel free to keep watching. If not, just skip to this timestamp here. So how it works is every frame the game checks what buttons are being pressed, and it adds that to an array, with the position being the delay variable. After that, it checks what values of the first item are set to true, and acts on them. Then it removes the values by using these commands here, moving everything else forward. And yeah, that's my biggest secret. To all of you who skipped it, I guess you'll have to just go back and rewatch it if you want to find out. Now that the driver gets drunk, I decided to make the map for them to drive on. It's a simple loop with a few turns here and there, and filling out the map took about an hour because of reasons I don't even know. But here's the loop, and you drive faster on road than on grass. Then I needed an enemy, and I figured there are 2 things that drunk drivers fear most. The first are trees, so I designed this tree sprite and placed them around the map. Now it's time to make them threatening. I used this command which keeps track of every spot that a tree appears on, and when a car touches a tree, this explosion happens. Although the car currently isn't hurt by it, so for the time being, I just made it restart the game. Next, I wanted a better indication of how much delay there is, so I took reference from an Australian classic, RBT, a show where cops go around and see how drunk people are. This thing has 18 seasons with 180 episodes. I'm not kidding, look it up. So I took this part of the show as inspiration and made my own version of it. You've got 3 colors, green for when you're at 0, blue for when you're at 2 or 4, and red if you're over 5. Now the current map is a bit empty, so I decided to add in some cars. These guys will just travel around the map, just begging to be run into. And when you do, then I needed a way to tell how fast you're going. There's no speed limits, but it's a driving simulator, and I need to tell how drunk you are. At first I tried to get this analog one to work, but I ended up just going for a digital one, as that is so much less work. Then I added their second biggest fear, cops. These guys were pretty easy to add. I just copied the code from the NPC car and made them faster and more aware. I also removed their ability to explode when they crash into a car, so don't worry, if you don't kill these guys, the cops will. Then I changed it from a loop to a map with a defined start and end point, and with the game now having levels, I feel like I should make a deal. If this video gets 100 likes, I'll add in 3 more levels, and if you get it to 250 likes, I'll add in an endless mode, and this stuff will be free, so make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out when I add more to this epic game. Now, even though you can already tell you get drunker by this bit here just going wild, I want to make this guy even worse. So every time you get drunker, you throw a beer bottle. For some reason, I made it throw out the left side of the car, even though I meant for it to be thrown on the right. So 500 likes and I'll add an options menu. I then got the cops to spawn in at these 2 points of the map, although I ended up changing this later on, so it's not too important right now. Next, we need a minimap, and as it turns out, these things are annoying. Now, I'm definitely not doing it correctly here. You're probably meant to get a grid of the full map or something, but I'm too lazy for that, so here's a red dot that indicates where the player is, and I spent so long just trying to get the red dot to stay mostly on the course. I then made it so you get a game over when the cops catch you. Look at how cool this is. It's got an expanding text bubble and everything. And no, this wasn't stolen from Tempest Island. I made it for... Wait, you don't know what Tempest Island is? Well, You better go wishlist it now. Now the game's starting to get a bit boring just looking at one costume for all the cars with a simple addition for the cops, so I added a few new styles. The first lot included these three, red, blue, and what I'm calling a cool blue gradient. I'll go over how to unlock this along with the rest of the skins later on. Then there was the game over screen, nothing special, I just did a darkened screen with text that says game over, although I did have it change the colour depending on if you die or get caught by a cop. I then realised that some people might want to pause the game if they somehow have something else that's more important than playing Drunk Driving Simulator, so I added a pause menu. Right now we have a resume button which likes to stick around even when the game isn't paused, and a quit which just closes the game. I then gave the cops a minimap icon. It's just a blue circle that uses the same code as the car's minimap icon, but shut up. And there's the rest of the costumes: yellow, pink, silver, gold, flame, and cybercar. Phew, just avoided a huge lawsuit right there. You get these for either decommissioning a certain number of cars or finishing the level with certain goals. For example, to get the gold car, you need to decommission 150 cars. Hi, editing Fruittoast here. Turns out I forgot to tell you how to unlock each car. So you get the red one from 10 kills, the blue one from 25 kills, the yellow for 50, the pink for 75, silver after 100, gold for 150, and the cybercar is for 200. You get the cool blue gradient by beating the level, you get flames beating it in under 80 seconds, and you get the cop car for 100 seconds. Then was the screen for when you finish the game. I had to rewrite parts of the text engine to get it to work, but they tell you that you're under arrest for drunk driving, and if someone beats it with a delay of less than 5, I'll make a new ending, and you get this little level complete screen that sends you back to the main menu. Next I made the menu screens. We've got one for the title, which is a bit cramped but it fits, and a level select screen which I used some fancy camera tricks to get working properly. And then I gave the cars a makeover. We've got blues, the lights do more shit, and it says police in white letters, so you know that you've got to run. I then got it to save some basic data, just basic stuff that isn't too important right now, and added in the wardrobe, which I might change to a garage later on, I don't know. And when you're in this menu, you can click a car and it changes your skin. I then made it so that you need to have them unlocked if you want to use it. And with that done, I made a few light adjustments. I spent way too long making sure that the game was beatable, and to do so I ended up increasing the base speed and the turning speed, and redid the cop spawners so that they only spawn at the entrance, with the trade-off being that if you touch the most under the limit they ignore you, although I'm not sure what happens when they meet the end, so fuck around and find out, I guess. Oh yeah, I also made the quit button here take you back to the main menu instead of just closing the game, but I forgot to put in a dedicated close button, so just use Alt F4. Statistically, you're grown up, unless you're lying about my age, but my viewers don't lie, why would they? I then got the minimap working properly so it looks accurate to where you are on the road, instead of saying you're above the road, and then got in some sound effects. I used this website here. I'm not sponsored by them, but if you want sound effects, go use it. I'll put the link in the description. For music, I used a track that I commissioned a friend of mine to make for one of my earlier planned projects. Although that was made during February of 2023, so that one's in the gutter. And that's the game created. I just exported it and uploaded it onto itch.io, where you can play more of my games, including the second and third round games of the Fruittoast vs Zenduck 3-hour games, and another game that I originally intended to turn into a video, but didn't have enough time to turn around. And if you really like the game, feel free to donate to it on itch or over on my Ko-Fi. You don't have to donate anything, and I won't lock any videos behind it. It's just if you feel like donating, you can, and I'll be very happy if you do so. Now, seeing as you watched a however long video on me making a drunk driving simulator, I'd say that you'd probably be interested in this video here, where I made a game, if you can even call it that, the way that GameMaker Studio intended. And with that said, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time, hopefully for a Tempest Island devlog.